These are the radishes. I think that one has a bird poopy on it. The birds have been over here. I need to clean that off. These are, I don't know if that's birds or some kind of bug, who knows. These are beets. They actually look quite nice compared to the ones I have in my bucket. The ones I have in my bucket have more red in the leaves. That's actually a type of deficiency in the beet. There's a little spider living in there. It's not a mite, that's okay. This is the turnips. Not too long ago they looked like this. This is the second batch that I have to thin out. And these are the carrots. And these are the what is it called? The chard. I thinned those out like a week or two ago. I'm hoping they get really big because there's all the space in between it that you're supposed to have. So I need these to grow big. Those have blossomed since I've thinned them. So yes, and today I have to make some trellises for the beans. As you see, they're ready to go higher, higher, higher. So I'm gonna make them a trellis today. That might be one of the first things I do. And these two, these are snap peas. And then I have to pick a day to change out this greenhouse. Because I have a sturdier one for the winter. Since I'll be growing this through the winter. So that's an example of the beets that's in the container. I fear I might just, I might not get the actual root. I might just get the top on these, but that's okay. I will eat whatever, because in the very beginning we used to actually grow these just for the tops before we realized that you could eat the root. I transplanted some of the tomatoes yesterday, actually before work. I did two. I did this batch here and this batch here, so they're doing well because it's the next day and the flowers are opening up, and obviously those will become the fruit. So I wanted to make sure I got them into bigger bags. These are 15-gallon grow bags, and it's recommended to do two, which I started out with two, with the one here and one here per grow bag, but I'm trying 3 in here. I may get a few less tomatoes, but that's okay, because as you see, I have all these tomato plants here and all these tomato plants there to transplant. So I'm about to order some more soil this morning. This is why I need the greenhouse to keep going, so that I can keep the tomatoes warm throughout the fall and the winter and harvest them. And I bought a like a heater to go in here, so we'll be learning about that. And these are the other carrots, container carrots. So we'll see how those turn out, and whether I get any actual root vegetable on the ones in the container. I've already been picking the beans. These bean plants did not grow well. I did start them out to germinate in the hydrogen peroxide solution, which led to very fast germination, but it grew up sickly. So, and also I didn't use any inoculants, so that might have helped if I did, not sure. But it keeps making new growth, healthy new growth, so I let it go, you know, just water it, and I'll clip off whatever's dying and keep pulling the beans. So same story for this one over here. Same, as you can see, it's the same kind of sickly, but it's still making some beans there, so we're letting it go do what it's gonna do. And I planted this one in a 3-gallon, not a 5-gallon as recommended. I just wanted, noticed it had some flowers on it, and I wanted to get it in a bigger pot. So we'll see how it does by itself in the 3-gallon. And over here is like echinacea and stuff like that it's time to start transplanting, especially that one right there. I don't want to lose my echinacea. It takes a long time to grow that. And it looks like these need to be transplanted today. They're done. That's the marmalade tomato. That echinacea is, I don't know what's happening to it, but maybe it's getting too much water. Morning, guys. It's 6 in the morning, and I need to go pick my radishes. They're way too tall. I was gonna pick them last weekend, but they were too small. And now they are way too tall. Some of them are. Look at that. Yowzers. So I'm like, I have to leave for work at 8, so I'm gonna just come out here and pick them. I took the sheets off of these so that they could get some rainwater. Ooh, there's a bug on it. Of course there's a bug on it because I took the sheet off. I have to save it. I don't know what that is. No idea. It's like a worm or something. Or a slug of some sort. It's not attractive. A caterpillar? I don't know. I'm gonna have to get rid of it. Okay, so I got that. It looked like a slug. I don't know what that was out of there. Some kind of caterpillar. And put the covers back on them. Alright. That was the first time I took the covers off. Because I added the trellises yesterday. You should add the trellises much earlier. But I've kind of been fighting just to keep on top of this garden and on top of the housework that needs to be done. So I'm probably gonna pull all of these out. What is that? I don't know what that is. What is that? A freaking Jiminy Cricket? Or a grasshopper? There's like 2 of them that live in here. Okay. I should get gardening gloves, but I'm gonna have to feel around in there. Jiminy Crickets. What I tell you, there's 2 of them. 1 Jiminy Cricket, 2 Jiminy Crickets. When I start pulling, they're gonna run. Hopefully not on my hand. So as you can see, these are very tall. It's time for them to come out. So we're just gonna tug at the bottom and pull them out. They're small though, but what's that? 8 inches or more, you have to pull them. Else they get like very woody, starchy, and they could get woody if you leave them in too long. So this is like ridiculously tall. And you have to kind of assess each one. This is like 15 to 23 inches right now. So the last time I tasted these, they were very hot. So let's see how this goes. Kind of just go in, and some of them you can see the crown, some of them you can't, but there you go. This is a smaller variety. Twist it a little. This one doesn't want to come out the ground. But cool. Okay, here we go. So you want to pull your radishes when they're about 6 to 8 inches in height. When the tops of the radishes are also pushing themselves on the ground about an inch in height, but sometimes they grow different sizes. This is way over 6 to 8 inches in height on the top. This is not an inch round circumference, so I would go by the top growth. Because if you leave them inside for too long, they can become, the taste can be affected. So, looks like there was a little one amongst all the commotion that isn't quite ready to come up. I don't know if it'll survive, but with gardening, it's all like an experiment. You win some, you lose some. What I'm noticing is that the top of the radish is actually very fragile. I believe it's also edible, if I'm remembering correctly, but it's also very fragile, so you can snap another plant when pulling it. I think Jiminy Crickets are still holding on there. So I'm washing radish tops here, soaking them in some water, getting the dirt off, and the roots are here. I have another batch in the fridge that I already did. I'm going to roast and freeze, blanch and freeze, and I'm going to pickle them. I believe that's the plan anyway. Who knows, the majority might just get pickled. I do want to try it roasted with potatoes and other things and see how that goes. I would say one of the things that you have to kind of just be willing to deal with is the dirt. When you're growing vegetables, fruits, whatever, and it's like a root vegetable, or even if it's something just planted in the dirt, you have to deal with removing the dirt from the vegetable. So sometimes that can take several washes. So just be mindful of that when you start to do your growing. Just kind of prepare your mind and just be willing and ready to do the work. And I kind of just put a positive spin on it, that the dirt is connecting me to Mother Gaia. So yeah, I did some tonight, and I'm going to do more probably in the morning. This is going to be a process, probably like 2 to 3 day process to get everything washed and put away and preserved. So here we're going to talk about how to go through the winter, utilizing things like the greenhouses and covers and garden loops for your raised beds, and bringing in your more plants that aren't the crew crop plants to allow them to continue to grow and come to fruit through the fall and the winter. Morning, guys. I'm baking a pie for my neighbor, and I'm going to do another one for myself. This is my dough. I just got this one nice and crimped and rolled it out, and I'll do mine second. I always like to bake my pies in doubles, and then I have a little bit more gardening work to do. This is to say thank you for mowing my lawn. He mowed the front of my lawn because he has one of those sit-down lawn mowers. So just wanted to show my appreciation. And I'll show you the view from the window right now. So you can see I got it up in time last night. I worked until after nightfall. But I was able to get the tomatoes in. Yesterday was like 41 degrees. So I was really racing against the clock to get them in there because you don't really want them outside below 50, and it's warmer in there. And I'm going to set up the heater today and pick the veggies that I have over there. So I'm gonna try not to spend all day outside today because I really can't afford to do that. I have other things that I have to do inside. So this is kind of the challenge that I have right now, is balance and learning how to balance everything. So yeah. This is the new one I put up yesterday. It took 6 hours, and got the tomato plants in there. I have to top some off, so that's why you have some supplies there, and I'm gonna water them. There's actually starting to rain now. A storm's coming in, so I'm letting Mother Nature do its thing with these over here. And what I'm going to do, because the last one actually got pulled up by the wind, but I knew that it had to be replaced for winter. I was going to do it October 1st before the first frost hit, but it got pulled up earlier than that. So I am now staking this in, and I will also purchase some topsoil to put here. It blew up from this side, so that was where the heaviest winds is. On the other side I have a shed, so it protects it from the wind on that side. So I'm going to do this before the storm comes rolling in. I gave the pie to my neighbor and they were pleased, and now I'm making the second pie for myself. Also pumpkin, and I'm going to freeze it for Samhain. I'm thinking about having everything together and ready to celebrate that Sabbath. It's one of my favorite Sabbaths, favorite times of the year. So I was gonna, since I was making my neighbors one, I made me one as well, but I don't want to eat a whole pie to myself, of course. So I'm going to freeze it for Samhain and plan a nice Samhain activity where I at least have a friend or two over. Oop, the Samhain pie looks really good. I just took it out the oven not too long ago, so it's gonna settle and it has to cool for 2 hours. And then I'll wrap it up and pop it in the freezer, and it can stay in there until Samhain. This is what was harvested from the garden today. And these leaves, these are turnip tops. I just sauteed some tops that I cut off the radishes, and they taste really good sauteed. They taste like spinach. So I'm gonna add some to my soup tonight. This is beets, and this is these are turnips. Sometimes you don't get like all of the harvests might not be ready, but 1 or 2 are. You should pull those out, especially if they're root vegetables, because root vegetables, if they stay in the ground too long, they can get really woody or rot. So I pulled the beet because obviously it's ready for it to come out. I want to try this beet brownie recipe. I'll probably also juice with these. Beets stay really, really long in the fridge, so and the tops you can eat like for salad. Same with the turnips, you can eat turnip tops also. Morning, guys. I got some of my Samhain decorations in this morning. I still have others on the way, so excited about that. I woke up around 9, which was several hours later than I wanted to, but you know, sometimes you just gotta let your body sleep. So over there you can see I put down second bags of 10 more bags of the topsoil that I'm using to help weigh down the house, the pop-up tent. This is going to be the test because there is a tropical storm, effects of a tropical storm heading this way. So I saw this guy's method that he posted about on Amazon, and I'm trying his method basically. I don't know if he had topsoil on the bottom, but I decided to use that. They did recommend that on the instructions. And over the top, I'm going to tie. I have these like they're kind of like cinder blocks, but they're not. I don't remember the name for them, but they're used to elevate raised beds. So they're these cement blocks basically. You can actually see them there at the bottom. So I'm gonna take the string that the package came with. It came with string, but nothing to tie the string onto, so you have to just kind of do it yourself. So I'm gonna take that string and loop it into the blocks and then cross it over the top of the greenhouse for added weight. And yeah, so just doing that and getting that out the way before the stores come. And I would like to pick the beets over there because I think it's time to get those out. They look a little withered, but I didn't water them, but I chose not to water them on purpose. So I know they got hit with the sun yesterday. I think it went up to 70, but the reason why I didn't water them is because it's going to be raining like crazy today. So yeah, and yeah, so I'm gonna do that, and then I put up some Samhain decorations later, and I will share that with you guys. Lots of fun planned for Samhain. I have a friend coming over that I had the prior coven with, and we still have, you know, our spiritual chats and share things spiritually. So we are going to celebrate Samhain. And I'm gonna write out a nice ritual. Part of that celebration I want to be apple picking and pumpkin picking at a nearby farms, and then making like traditional foods. So yeah, so excited. So I finished putting down the rest of the weights. So as you see, I did the blocks here and at the back on both sides, and it's kind of looped over the top. So we'll see how this holds up this evening. So all these flowers that bloomed will turn into the tomatoes once they're pollinated. So I am using a Q-tip. You can use your finger. There's dirt in my hands because I've been in the dirt, but I'm using a Q-tip and just cross pollinating by pretending like the bee would do, just going into the flower, and the pollen that gets on their body, their hairy little bodies, when they're extracting nectar from flower to flower, rubs off onto the next flower. So this Q-tip is the bee. If you don't have a Q-tip, you can just use your finger and kind of flick it like this, and then do the next one. It's pretty much, that's how you get the manual pollination done. Because when you have your flowers like mine's in a pop-up greenhouse, it doesn't really get exposed to as many insects. Some insects do get inside, but like for example, there's no insects in here today, and all these flowers are open up. So this is just an example. They can grow with the manual pollination. Swiss chard, carrots, beets, which I'm pulling now. That's some beets and a radish, and I pulled the radishes earlier, and that's what's left. Hey guys, so I just harvested all the beets, 16 beets. Not all of them, I still have some over there growing, actually, quite a few. So this is the second time I've pulled the beets, so I got 16 this time. Last time only like 2 were ready to come out, so about 18 beets harvested so far. I'm counting everything, and I'm going to price what they're currently worth right now on the market, and to see how long it takes me to get a return on everything that I invested in this garden, because I invested a lot. It's probably over $1,000. So, and then I found out later that like a lot of people are sticker shock when they realize how much it costs to start it off, especially if you're doing raised beds, because you have to fill them. I have the foot long. There's bigger ones that are like 24, and I do plan to get those if they have like tricks and tips to fill them using other organic matting and not just potting soil. And what I want to try this spring is making my own potting soil by mixing together the ingredients that they usually mix in the pre-mixed one, because it's supposed to be cheaper that way. So we'll see. A lot of it is just experimenting, but it's good knowledge. And I made myself a binder. I was flipping through it. I made it like maybe a year ago. I've always had this interest, just never had the space to do it, and I just wrote down so many notes. So I do feel like this is just aligned with part of my purpose and future life going forward, being able to be self-sustainable. So carrying this rush forward. Just now having my coffee. Winds are coming. I'm going to be up to 33 miles per hour. They're hitting at 5. So now I am working on making the garden loops to try to also give my vegetables more height and just more protection. Okay, it took like an hour, maybe hour and a half, but I got up the 6 on this. It takes so long because it's really hard to crimp it. They do not make the crimping too easy for a lady, but it looks really good. I'm really excited. Now I can put up frost protection, shade protection. It's supposed to last for a few years, so yay. Now I'm gonna work on this one. Hey guys, so I've been out in the garden doing some work because I haven't been out here in a while. The tomatoes, I pulled off like a handful and ate them, and the rest of them need about a week to finish up, so a week or two. And there are still some that are still blooming, so I'm gonna go work on those. And I just cleared out this bed. What I pulled is over here: beets, carrots, and let me get down there. I'm overwintering the carrots, rest of the carrots, and the Swiss chard. I was gonna just do the Swiss chard, but when I pulled the carrots, I saw how big they got, and since I'm letting them in there, so I figured why not just store them in there, because the ones I put in the fridge are like already starting to soften, so they're gonna last fresher and better like here. So I just changed out the covering. This one protects against frost and snow, and put that up and gave them a good water. I believe you have to water them until through December, and then you can stop watering and just let them sit in the ground or in the raised bed over winter, and you just pull them out as you need them. The Swiss chard I need to do a little bit more research on, like if you continue to water those or if you just let it sit. We'll figure that out, but yeah. So the tomatoes had it pretty rough because I've only come in like once a week to water them, so they weren't doing too well. It's hard work. It's cold, but I came in and I fed them and I sprayed them down with some spray, and so you can see, they're turning red and juicy. And now I am so ready to leave this garden because I really wanted to do a lot of work inside today, but I had to. I've been out here 4 hours. If you really gonna take care of your garden, yeah, it'll take about 4 hours. You can break that up over a period of days, and it also depends on the size. The bigger the garden, the more time it's gonna take. This is I brought in this, which is the these are carrots, and I brought them in here because I want to keep these to grow seeds. I'm sure if I pull them they'll be a decent size by now, but I want to grow seeds with them, so I just brought them in here so I don't have to worry about like putting a cover on the top. And now I'm going to manually manipulate the flowers that are still blooming. So like this, basically. This is a Q-tip, or you can use your finger, but I think a Q-tip is better because it's hairy. And you just go like this, and then you move on to the next one, and you keep going. So it has to be a labor of love, my friend.